Ooh, hey Tripod fam. Welcome to Cheating, the Tripod series. So all of us, all three, have cheated. Yes, Tripod fam, you heard that right. The introvert included. And as a matter of fact, she was the very first one. So she's going to be kicking off this 4-part series about our history with infidelity and how we evolved from it. Because truthfully, it was those experiences, what we learned, how we adapted, that really made our relationship stronger and more unbreakable than ever. This is going to be juicy. Stay tuned. You can hide it, 'cause I feel you, never let you go. Boy, I know our love is strong, even when sunlight turns to storm.
Hey Tripod fam, I am here by myself without my diva on my right hand side, so y'all have to bear with me since I'm by myself. Jeff and I started dating in 1999. I was 16, he was 18 in high school. And I graduated in 2000 and went off to college, not far from here, just about an hour north. But it was the first time I'm away from home, away from Jeff, doing my own thing at school. It's my first time alone. I'm in a dorm room by myself, and I'm making a couple of friends here and there. And this guy, Matthew, starts showing me some attention. Again, I had never been with anyone but Jeff before, and he's just, he's cute. He's half black and half, I think, Puerto Rican. We'll call him Matthew. And yeah, he's flirting with me, showing me a little bit of attention. We're talking on the phone. We start hanging out a little bit here and there. And the thing is, people know that Jeff is my boyfriend because he comes to visit me at school because I'm not that far away. So he'll come, maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. So people know he knew that I had a boyfriend. But yet we're still hanging out. We become intimate. And a friend that I had at the time tells Jeff that Letitia is hanging with this guy named Matthew.
So I had a feeling because I'm psychic and I'm a Scorpio. So I had a feeling, I had a gut, I had my intuition, my spidey sense was tingling, and I just knew something was going on. And you know how you get when you want to accuse somebody of something, but you don't have any evidence of it, but you just have this deep down feeling that it's not what they're telling you it is. So yeah, my spidey sense was tingling. So I confronted Letitia. I asked her about it. And of course she denied it. She assured me that nothing was happening and it was just my imagination. But I couldn't get over the feeling that she was lying. So that led me to pursue the information from a different route. So I befriended one of her friends and kind of ran some game on her, and I knew that she would give the information up. And so that's exactly what happened. She spilled all the beans about what was going on with this guy named Matthew. She told me everything. So I plan to confront Letitia about it.
Tell me about the phone call when you called her, Jeff.
So I called her and I confronted her about what I knew what was going on because her friend had told me everything. She still denied it and she caught an attitude with me. So that attitude just sent me off the rails and we started arguing back and forth. And I said, oh yeah, all right, well, I'm on my way. And I hung up the phone.
He hangs up the phone, and at that point, I'm like, uh-oh, because he's on his way. This is kind of before you used cell phones. Like, I couldn't track him or anything like that.
That's right.
But like he said, here I am, 18, and I'm feeling myself, and I'm like, whatever, I'm going to do me. And he was like, okay, bet.
Yep. I was like, bet. And I drove as fast as I could to said location. And and you know, it might have been the first and only time in my life I was doing like 100 on the highway. But yeah, it was real. I was on my way.
And I was scared.
And she should have been, because I had a lot of crazy thoughts happening in my head at the moment.
We were young at this. We were like 18 and 20 at this time.
Yeah, so. And it was like old school New Orleans. So like the old school New Orleans was about to come out of me.
Ignorant.
Yeah, it was gonna be bad.
So Jeff gets there. He comes to my dorm room. We're arguing, and then we hear a knock on the door. And that is Matthew knocking on the door. I think he might have had a friend or two with him, but he's knocking on my dorm room.
People with him.
And I'm like, what?
I'm in the dorm room.
What? He's in it. So I'm like obviously I can't keep him, but the door is locked. I'm like, please don't open it. I'm going to get put out of school. Like they're fussing back and forth, and people are coming out of their other dorm rooms.
Letitia is begging me not to answer it. Yeah. And so my higher mind is trying to pull me back from opening the door and going out into the hallway, because I know that she's going to get in trouble for it. So me and him are going back and forth through the door. We're arguing, we're cursing at each other. You know, it's this whole thing. Like Letitia said, people are out in the hallway, and so somebody calls the police.
Somebody calls the police. Yeah, somebody calls the police, and so they leave. Well, then Matthew calls me. He calls my dorm room phone, and Jeff immediately takes it from me. Like I couldn't even say anything. He immediately takes it from me, and they're just going back and forth. And Matthew is saying some really disrespectful stuff, and then he finally says something like, "Well, you chose me."
Needless to say, it was heated, and it wasn't over.
Yeah, it's not over. So the police come. And Jeff has to leave. He can't stay at my dorm room. So he leaves. But
after being questioned.
Right.
Yeah, right.
But we knew that it wasn't. You knew he was coming back.
Yeah. Well, I knew immediately that it wasn't over, and I would be back. And so that's what happened. I formulated a plan to come back. I brought a couple of friends because I knew that he had a bunch of friends that were there. So I drive out there with 3 of my friends to confront the guy. And you know, as crazy as that sounds to my adult ears, just saying it, that's what happened. That was the reality of it.
And I'm in my dorm room. I know they're coming, and I'm just kind of in my dorm room, just waiting. Because again, we didn't have cell phones, so where we're talking all the time, it was just, I guess he'll come find me when he's done. Yeah.
In the back of my mind, I always had Letitia's well-being stopping me from going too far with this whole situation, but. On this occasion, I was ready to
handle business.
Yeah, I was ready to not be talking anymore, and so I get there, I find him, and he's with a group of friends, and so my friends and his friends kind of cancel each other out, right? So me and him are kind of braced up to each other, and you know, we're kind of going back and forth, and before we get into a tussle, he stops me and he tells me, let's just talk about it for a second. And so, again, Letitia clicked into my head, her well-being, and so I decided, okay, well, let me hear what you got to say. So I don't exactly remember the exact conversation because it was so long ago, but I know at the end of it, it was squashed. It was squashed. Right.
So at this point, you know, I have gone through the shame and embarrassment of, you know, having to walk out of my dorm room and people knowing what was going on. So after Jeff tells me, like, it's squashed, it's done, so then I'm done. I'm like, oh, well, I'm not talking to him anymore. And he definitely still tried to talk to me because that's what he was. Like, he was, it didn't matter. But I was like, nope. I was like on a straight and narrow. I got all A's that semester. And at the end of the day, it was like, I don't want to be, I got what I have the man that I need in my life and the man that I want. So yeah, to think that I almost like was gonna maybe break up with you to be with him is like ridiculous. Looking at it obviously as
retrospect
is
always
now.
2020.
Yeah, I mean the 18-year-old mind. Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
It wants what it wants.
So after that, I never did nothing again. because it just wasn't worth it. I knew I wanted to be with Jeff, and you know, and I didn't want to risk him embarrassing me again.
Right. It really hurt my trust, unfortunately, and it made me feel more justified in when Tanya came along.
Tanya.
Which is the next story.
All right, y'all. Thanks so much for tuning in to the first part of this 4-part series about our history of infidelity and how we evolved from it. Because it was those experiences, what we learned from them, how we adapted, that made us so much stronger and made our relationship that much more unbreakable today.
We just discussed my cheating experience with Matthew, and like Jeff said, how that made him feel more justified when Tanya came along.
Tanya.
Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Bae and J for more pictures, funny stories, and more info about your favorite tripod.
Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Make sure you comment, because I want to know what y'all think about your favorite introvert being the first one to cheat. Make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications. Thanks for tuning in to Bae and J, y'all. Bye.